Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to inside the kitchen of a US submarine during rush hour lunchtime. This is going to be super interesting because I've always thought, like ever since I've started learning about aircraft carriers and submarines and things like that, I've always thought, how are these people fed? You know, these kitchens can't be the size of a typical kitchen, you know, on land. I'm sure they try and save space as much as possible, but on an aircraft carrier, for example, you've got like 5,000 people. On a submarine, you've probably got, I'm guessing, a couple of hundred people. So that's quite a few mouths to feed. So how do you keep, how do you produce the amount of food required to keep everybody not just fed, but also fed well? Because you want to keep morale high. If you're feeding these sailors, garbage, morale's going to get low pretty quick, and then people are going to get miserable. They're going to want to go back on land. So you got to feed these guys properly. So yeah, this video here, I'm hoping it's going to really, show us how they pump out these meals, what kind of conditions they work in. It should be a really interesting one. Let's do it. Looks like a pretty exciting job, I'm not gonna lie to you. Submarines are the silent hunters of the Navy, nearly undetectable when submerged. The first US submarine was designed to mine British ships, however was unsuccessful. I didn't know that. Modern submarines come in three variants: attack, ballistic missile, and cruise missile. Nuclear powered subs can stay submerged for months at a time. That's insane. Imagine not seeing daylight for months. Sailors can still man the tower when on surface with visual scans in addition to radar and video systems. Sailors navigate the narrow halls of the sleeping quarters. So you must sleep on like bunk beds in these submarines. You're not going to have like a king-size bed. Unless I guess you're the admiral, maybe. The heart of morale on the sub, the galley holds 2 to 4 chefs who prepare all the meals. Wow, so only 2 to 4 chefs cooking hundreds of meals at a time. £160 of food per sailor. I guess, yeah, if you're submerged for months, let's say £1 of food a day, £2 a day, that's 80 days worth of food. Sounds about right. Those burgers do look pretty good. Maybe it's just because I'm hungry. Maybe that's why. But they do look pretty good. Smashed burgers. Instead of frozen foods, submarine chefs prepare meals from fresh ingredients. That's great. You'd expect nothing less. The galley on most submarines is only 15 feet on a side, but produces impressive meals. That's what I'm saying. It's so like narrow and small. I guess you'll know where everything is. Yeah, fresh fruit and veg, high in vitamin C. Yeah, I guess like all the food on this submarine has probably been, thoroughly like researched by the scientists and make sure they're like as nutrition dense as possible. Like packing those nutrients. Oh yeah, pepperoni pizza. I'm gonna get pizza tonight. I've decided. A hearty breakfast is served alongside dinner as the watches change. Look at this guy here. Look at that guy sat right behind the TV. Every bit of space is used. Hearty soups are a staple of ship warfare in addition to the lifeblood that is coffee. Yeah, boy. Man, I'd love to spend a week on a submarine. I would honestly pay a decent amount of money just to have the real submarine experience. Or an aircraft carrier. Most bases are functional, however common areas like the mess let crew members gather. Yeah, you want these guys bonding and stuff.
Shooting, 2-4.
By OpSCAD 48 Tech 18, verified by the nav and myself. Sounding is 1385 fathoms beneath the keel.
Sailor reads off the instrumentation summary in the submarine's control center. All these guys have a job. They must know it inside and out. You know, you got to keep this thing moving. After verifying the depth with charts and instruments, the submarine pilots enter a dive. Okay, so that's where they go deeper, right? I'm guessing the deeper the sub is, the less detectable it is by other seafaring vessels. Navigation while underwater requires knowledge of charts and currents as well as instruments. Yeah. Look at all the wires and the dials, man. To someone like me who hasn't got a clue, like, super intimidating. Like, all of the pipes and the cables and you've got to be able to fix anything if it goes wrong, otherwise you've got to come back up, right? Damage control drills are critical to ensuring crews know how to react in an emergency. Yep. Gotta be prepared for everything.
There are no injured personnel. The fire is out. There are no hot spots.
To move around the boat in smoke and fumes, crew must be able to attach hoses in the dark. They must do these drills like on a either daily or at least, I would imagine, twice a week basis. God, look how cramped the sleeping situation is. Wow. I'm guessing the higher up you go in rank, the larger your sleeping quarters. Is that true? I would imagine that to be the case. Resupplying a submarine while underway is usually done via helicopter. So they just dump the package and then the submarine emerges to retrieve it. Okay, they just lower it with a wire. I see. That's probably a lot safer in case there's anything fragile on board. Oh wow, they dump it right on the sub. With the rear door open, the crew chief updates the pilots on the resupply status. So someone comes up from one of the doors or latches. This is so cool. Combat controllers prepare to open an austere runway for landings. Or on the sub? What? The combat control team or CCT works together to enable safe landing and takeoff operations. Are they going to land something on the submarine? Like a plane or a helicopter? That can't be right. A windstock provides pilots with critical wind information when they are landing. Okay, so I'm guessing if that kite thing is flying really straight, then it's high winds. Bright orange markers indicate to the pilots where the planned surface begins. Oh, okay.
That's not really tight, is it? Good. This is kind of... Yeah, you want it like that?
Everything is so precise and meticulously, you know, calculated and implemented. Like, there's just like very little room for error on these things. It's really something to behold.
So you want me to hit that gator up? Gator up something? Alright, I'll just keep going.
Checklists ensure that all critical items for airfield setup are accomplished. That makes sense. It's like, you know, starting your day with a sort of to-do list. Okay, bed made, check. Teeth brushed, check.
Alright, he's never gonna come this way. He's right there, to the ramp.
In addition to a safe landing surface, security for the aircraft while on the ground is critical. You don't want anyone trying to mess with the operation. Locked and loaded. Those C-130s are huge. Just absolute beasts. Cargo planes, aren't they? Just look at the size of it. Look at the girth on the fuselage. It's just so thick. That's what she said. Oh, I couldn't help it. This C-130J is out of Dye's AFB in Texas and carries passengers and cargo. Yeah, cargo plane. I wonder what the payload is for one of those C-130Js is. Probably like... It's got to be... high hundreds of tons. Maybe... Okay, maybe a couple hundred tons. Mate, don't get too close. Dude! Hopefully this is just an optical illusion or something, but he looks super close to those propellers. Passengers on the simulated deployment sort baggage and equipment. How much do these guys get paid? Like, what is the pay scale for, like, the Air Force? Like an officer? 50k? $50,000 for an officer? I think the pilots, the fighter pilots make around, is it 70, 75k? For storage, the 57-foot wings fold hydraulically to lie flat on the surface. It has a fuel capacity of 1,850 gallons and a maximum fuel endurance of 6 hours. Wow, look at that thing unfold. It's like origami. That is so cool. Northrop Grumman introduced the aircraft in '64. Wow. So it's almost 60 years old and it's still going strong. Got some good life out of that thing, honestly. 60 years. What happens to it when the US retires it? Does it go into storage or is it sold on to allied nations maybe? Sold to civilians, maybe? Probably not civilians. US Naval Reserve deploys 6 Hawkeyes for drug interdiction and homeland security operations. Okay. Interdiction, I'm guessing that's interception, basically. Like any drug runners trying to run their stuff across bodies of water. Look at that carrier just cruising along. Super cool. There she goes. Nice landing. Stuck the landing. It is operated by a crew of 5 with a pilot and co-pilot on the flight deck. Almost looks like they've cut the thing off with like a chainsaw, like. it looks like they're cleaning it off. I wonder what the turnaround time is, like how quickly they can get it back in the air. A few hours, I'm guessing. Nice helicopter. I wonder how many just aircraft, including helicopters, the US military has at its disposal. Like, all aircraft, everything capable of flight. It's got to be up to 100,000? Like, all planes. I know there's like 200 and something F-22s, but, you know, including everything, the B-2s, you know, the B-1s, the Apaches, the Black Hawks, all that stuff. Maybe not 100,000, maybe like 50k, 50,000. The Lakota can carry 8 passengers or 2 litters during a medevac evacuation. £1,500. Not bad. That's like 6 large people. Like 6 very large people it can lift up. Depending on the weight of the load, it can be raised up to 240 feet per minute.
That's it for today.
Very
I hope you liked this video, and if you haven't done it...
Wow, wow, wow. I genuinely enjoyed that video. Honestly, like I mentioned in the video, I would pay to spend a week on an aircraft carrier or a submarine just to get the full experience, because you're in a floating building. Literally, you're in a building that is floating across the ocean. It's so cool. Like, just to see, you know, the living conditions, the quarters, the galleys, the kitchen. It's such a fascinating thing, and it's a well-run operation. Everybody knows what they're meant to do. Everybody has a place. Everybody has a job. Everyone has a list of duties that keeps the machine running, that keeps the gears smooth. It's such a cool thing. Anyone who's like spent any time on a sub or a carrier, let me know what it was like for you. Did you enjoy it? Would you go back? Anything like that? I'd love to read your anecdotes. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.